Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, only 5 minutes late tonight, DLR and Monza. Personal favorite track of mine. Low speed, low amount of corners, makes for an easy track. Drivers are going to be looking at 0-0 wing setups to fly down the straightaways. I think we have 14 in, 15 in for tonight, so decently full grid. So we will see what the drivers, and I'm immediately pinged as soon as we start. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Pulling up the phone, pulling up the phone. Alright, three at once, three at once. Alrighty, let me grab my controller. That is usually a helpful tool to have. I'm still on full track, very nice. Yeah, 15 drivers in for tonight. Double kick, single McLaren, Taylor McKenzie, unable to race. Double Mercedes, double Aston without iRacing Noob, he's unable to make it, so Alex is filling in for him. Double Alpine with Rez finally showing up once again. I think this is only his second time racing here. Joseph and I That Man for double Red Bull, double Ferrari, and single Williams, single Haas. Oh my days. Holy crap, 5 pings already? Go Iceman. You're gonna need to clarify. Oh, actually, no. Tonight we only have one Iceman. The other one is not here. That's a first. And I forgot to change my stream title, of course, so let me fix that real quick. I could have sworn I had changed it. I could have sworn. This is the second time that I forgot to change it. Or no, I changed the title for the other one. It's just I changed it wrong in professional style. Let us see about changing that. Can we edit it while we're live? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. This is round, and that's gonna geek out. Round, we're just gonna go with around Monza. So I don't remember which round this is. There we go, there we go. Very nice, very nice. First car on track is an Alpine of Mint. I believe Mint, always liking to jump out early, has done so once more. I don't know why my headphones are so loud. I think that's up and not down. Mint starting the first lap of the session for us. We see Williams of Dom heading on track, big front right lock from Mint in the Alpine as he comes out turn 2. Heading down to the end of Sector 1, flat out, barely any ERS. ERS management kind of weird as there's almost no elevation change, so you really just want to save it for the straightaways instead of low torque areas on the track. Mint looking for a decently tidy lap as it stands. F4 and Alex both still in the pits with Baja, Iceman, and Quads. A good tow for Mint from the Ferrari of Lone there. Not sure if that was on purpose or not, but Lone has given him a very excellent tow down the back straightaway. Heading to the second back straight is Mint now. This will be a mega lap from with that tow from Lone in the Ferrari. See, rounds the final corner. We have a yellow flag for a car going slowly, waiting to head on to his hot lap. Mint crosses the line with an 18-1. Very nicely done from him. We will see how that scales to the other drivers. Jesus on a invalidated hot lap, seemingly pushing still. Not quite sure why that is, unless if it's glitching out and it's not actually a invalidated lap, or if he's just pushing into the pits. Very well could be that, as we should have drivers starting to cross the line to set their first lap shortly. Into turn 1, a little incident for the Williams, maybe? Looks like he is still going, but not quite sure what the yellow is thrown for. As Jesus does cross the line, doesn't pit. Not quite sure what he is doing there, and that McLaren, he might have not realized that he was on an invalidated lap. Joseph in the Red Bull, the reigning winner from Zandvoort, looking to keep his hot streak going and catch up to the championship leader of Mint, who has taken the lead in the last couple rounds from iRacing Noob, who is not here tonight. As Joseph in the Red Bull rounds the final couple of corners, he's going to have a nice slipstream from the kick overhead, helping him out just that tad bit extra. Crosses the line behind that of Mint by 0.2. Just goes to show how good of a lap Mint did set with that good toe from the Ferrari, as how that man tucks in behind his teammate by 0.3. And Lone splits the Red Bulls with an 18.4 already. The first 4 laps set, all very close to one another in the top of the field. Mint still sitting on provisional pole in the pits already, after setting his lap early. So we see Moski, who started his lap at the end of That Man's and Joseph's lap. Deathwing sets a 19.6, second off the car ahead. Only 5 drivers yet to set a time though, but an interesting statistic to show his first lap pace compared to the top field. Baja and the matching Mercedes is currently finishing off his lap now, heading through Sector 3. Don't think he's going to have a slipstream from Moski ahead. I think he's just a bit too far off. As Alex and Rez are still in the pits, yet to set time. Jesus, who did a lap, is in the pits after setting an invalidated lap time. Baja crosses the line with a 19.1. He will be looking to put himself off the back foot of the front runners. Quads does a 19.2. Behind that, Baja with Moski on a 22-second lap time. As the Red Bull by That Man and Joseph are into the pits in the matching white Red Bulls. Only driver on a hot lap is the Williams of Dom. We saw him attempting a lap earlier, couldn't complete it, and now he's finishing up his first lap now. So he crosses the line, he puts the Williams P5 with an 18.7 off the back foot of the midfield. Or off the back foot of the top field, sorry, not the midfield. As he said, taking the GT3 layout for the track to get back to the pits as quickly as possible. Lots of time to be saved on your out and in laps here at Monza. T1 is going to be especially fun on the opening lap. We'll definitely be seeing some collisions with the drivers. Probably F4 looking to set his first lap time in the Ferrari with his teammate currently sitting P3 alone, who bottled it last race. Was running with the top 4 runners for P1 and up in the second stint, causing a mistake and fell off the back foot, losing out to that fight. Alex and Rez both on outlaps now. Iceman in the kick is in the pits with Eric in the Haas. F4 is looking to set himself up to the top field. Mint is coming out for a second lap already, as well as Joseph. So we see ahead of F4 here, we see his teammate Lone Fiber also on a lap, stopped ahead now. Thought they might have been doing a bit of a tow game, and they have not. So Lone has given Mint more of a tow than that of F4 as it stands. F4 looking very nicely through Sector 3 so far. He has a McLaren going slowly, setting up their lap ahead. I think that to be Jesus. Yes, it must be, as Taylor McKenzie is not here. As F4 spins it on the last corner, he flicked it into the corner just too hard and spun it around. That would be some commentator's curse for you, ladies and gentlemen, right there. At least he can put into the pits a Shane with some extra rocks to give his mechanics as a sorry. Alex, the reserve for Aston Martin, looking to set their first time, has some traffic ahead of him. We'll see if that ends up being a slowing down headache or a nice slipstream, as he is also flicking into the corners quite heavily, might I say. You look on board, he is just absolutely sending it through the corners, doing the flicking meta that most drivers hate to see. He will actually get quite a nice slipstream off of that Red Bull ahead of him, similar to that of Mint and Lone. I think we see Mint behind the Aston Martin, as the Aston Martin invalidates his track time after that mistake. We'll continue, actually no, he won't stick out his lap. I was going to say we'll continue riding on board to see what kind of lap time that would have been, but he won't. Mint with a nice slipstream from the Aston will look to find some improvement. As Mint crosses the line, he does find time. He finds over a tenth of a second, putting him right on the cusp of a 17-second lap time with a 17.999. So we see some more lap times coming in. We see that Dom already had put himself P7. Quads is P9 between the Mercedes splits. Iceman F4, Alex and Eric all yet to set a time. Iceman on track now looking for his first lap. As he comes across the line ahead of his teammate, but right on the back foot of the Mercedes ahead. F4 now looking to come back out for another lap. We were right on board with him, so that way he screws up a second lap in a row as Joseph took provisional pole by just 0.04 of a second. Alex and F4 both on their outlaps. We gave both of them a nice bit of commentator's curse watching F4 Bennett into the final corner and Alex in sector 3. So I think we're into the low frames per second stage of qualifying as per usual. So F4 goes to start his second, but what would be first timed hot lap. So I'm trying to figure out how to fix this chip clip. I think I got it. No? I don't understand which way this goes around. Oh. Nope, that just snaps off it. Oh, that also just snaps off it. I think this is just a really crappy chip clip. F4 on their second, third, first framey lap as we get our frames back through sector 1. F4 said he was up on that lap time until I gave him the curse. Alex, who also had an amazing slipstream until I gave him the curse as well. Deathwing looking to set another time with Baja and Lone. 4 drivers out on track on their hot lap, a 5th soon to come. So F4 comes down to the Parabolica. We'll see what kind of time he is able to set. Eric to go to. Because hyperdrive though? Because of hyperdrive, what? As F4 does an 18.6 behind that of their own teammate. I think we might count that as a commentator's curse. We'll right on board with Alex coming through sector 2 now. This time without the slipstream from a Ferrari. Or no, it was a Red Bull for him. It was Ferrari for Mint. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Marlin looking very nice as it stands. As he comes down through the final corner, we will see what kind of time he is able to set. As Quads comes out for their second lap of the session. Alex goes P5 with an 18.3, putting it behind Jesus and ahead of Brez. Lone Fiber finding a fair amount of time, doing a 17.993, just putting it barely between that of Mitt and Joseph. The driver's looking for a 17.9 something to take pole position unless they can find a mega lap and do a 17.8. Only driver on a hot lap now is Eric in the Haas. So we see behind him that of an Alpine and a Kick Sauber. Not quite sure which one is which for them. I think it might be Rez behind him. So we see Alex getting out of the way nicely for the pair. Eric looking to find something of a time. He just needs to finish at least one lap, and he invalidates it. That is what we call commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we call commentator's curse. I say he just needs to get one lap time in, and he invalidates. Okay, next. Quads starting their lap now. Second lap for them. They need to at least find themselves into the 18s to be able to fight in the midfield. Once again, we are seeing a very tight midfield. We didn't see this in Zandvoort, but we are seeing it now here in Monza. A lot of time to be found from the drivers to gain big positions for the starting grid of the race. These quads will have a nifty little slipstream-ish type thing. Was that his teammate? That was his teammate. He kind of got it in the way of him, I can't really lie. His teammate looking to have a slipstream, I think, going through the main straightaway. Not quite sure why he got out of the way like that. That wasn't very proper of him, as Jesus leaves the session. I would be a little bit frustrated if I was quads and I saw my teammate get out of the way like that. That wasn't the cleanest way of doing so. As his teammate also goes into the pits after that. Okay. Quads finding himself with an 18.5, putting him ahead of F4 and behind Rez in the Alpine. He's also behind that of his teammate by 2/10. Looking down the field, the Williams on an invalidated lap. Mintz looking for a hot lap as Alex retires from the session in pit lane. So Mint looks to try and find some time. I think we will get a sector march, or is he already in sector 3? I think he's already in sector 3, yeah. So we will see if he can take provisional pole. He's actually not using any ERS, so I think this is his second outlap, maybe? Not quite sure what happened to him. Yeah, plus 12, so he did 2 outlaps. So he must have screwed up the entry into his first lap. Has big front right lock once more from him. We saw that earlier on in the race. Mint now looking for time. He does have his teammate ahead to give him a nice slipstream down the second back straight. This will plot out very nicely for the pair. And I think he will be returning the favor to Rez on the main straightaway. Possibly? Nope. I think Rez is on an end lap. Squad's also retiring in the Aston Martin. Both Aston Martins done with the session, as well as now a Williams. As Mint crosses the line, he sets a... Oh wait, did he already cross? He already crossed. He didn't find any improvement. What happened? How did he not find improvement? My goodness, what has happened to the Alpine? As F4 and I That Man are on laps, I That Man is on an invalidated lap and rushing around still for some reason. F4 looking to cross the line to try and take pole position from Joseph. Lone Fiber retiring after the line. As Joseph still on provisional pole. F4 goes P4 ahead of Jesus, but not enough to take it away from the Red Bull. I That Man crosses the line, like I said, invalidated lap. Joseph invalidated lap. Baja and Mint, no, Mint's not on a possible lap. Baja could possibly if he had a mega lap. As Mint retires from the session as well. Baja comes to cross the line with a spinning car ahead of him. P9 ahead of I That Man. He jumps I That Man with his teammate P12. Iceman and Moski both out there. Moski on an invalidated lap. Eric looking to just set one lap. See where he can put the Haas through this session. And he has gone P12. P12 for the Haas. The midfield divided from an 18.2 to an 18-second. Half a second between P4 and P11. That is incredible stuff and very competitive driving from the lot. And will definitely make for a good fight for points. As Iceman finds his kicks over P12. That will be a very tight fight for any amount of points through this race. So pole position goes to Joseph, followed up by Lone and the Ferrari, followed by Mint and the Alpine. Very close between the three of them. Off the back foot at 4 with a 18.2, takes away P4 and will lead the midfield all the way down to P11 to Dom and the Williams. Very tight group, and between the two of them with Iceman, Eric, Deathwing, and Mosky bringing up the rear of qualifying. There we go. Joseph pole position, Lone Fiber, like I said, P2 with Mint and P3, and we will be taken away to the race. As drivers are being told to not ready up until the 31-minute mark, we will see if they actually pay attention to that. My Wi-Fi is terrible, so I gotta go, but I'll watch the live back. That's very nice, very nice. Should be a good fight in the midfield. Should be quite a messy turn one by my guesstimate. With how competitive this midfield is looking, I think turn one might be a bit of a mess. Look, speed drivers are actually for once paying attention to the start time in this league, so we will go ahead and take a short pause. Oh, I was being told to talk actually because I put my mic on mute because I was eating when we were on pause. I didn't really say much. I was just asking who it was that was going to be the bowling ball into turn 1. Was it going to be the usual suspect of the kick Sauber drivers, or will the Mercedes drivers access their inner George Russell and take out the field into turn 1? Also complained that F4 wasn't going along with the formation lap as per usual and not being a team player. We shall see, we shall see. Monza, one of the deadliest league and open lobby turn 1s. If you see a Monza open lobby or ranked race, run away fast. Game says 2 or 3 stop. I'm pretty sure this is a 1 stop race, if I'm right. Which I very well could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1 stop. Running 0-0 wings definitely could be made a 2 stop, but I don't think many of these guys are going to want to do that. So we see the drivers lining up on the field. Joseph will take us away at the start of the race. Lone creeping into the P2 slot to get as far ahead as he possibly can, with Moski looks to be bringing up the rear. So we slowly wait for the slow kick Sauber. We will get going. And we are finally off. Eventually, there we go. We're right on board with F4 off the start, 5 red lights, and away we go. Looks like a good start from Lone and a bad one from Joseph. So bad, actually, that the Alpine is already on top of him. Looks like Alex has made up a position as well. Going into turn 1, 3 wide, the Ferrari getting a pinch, but looks to be the one to get away. The Aston Martin duo being a terrorist on some Ferraris as people are jumping down the order. We're trying to keep back up with the top of the field. Looks like the Aston Martins are carving their way through the field with that of the Mercedes and Baja. They are carving their way through the top of the field. Drivers are still going 3 wide on this opening lap. This is absolutely stellar driving so far. The Aston Martins, as many drivers are also going way off track. Surprised they're not getting illegal overtakes off that, but I am not sure as to what is going on as of yet, but drivers are still fighting out to try and settle into positions. But it looks to be a Red Bull leading, followed by Mercedes, as a Ferrari is put straight into the wall. He is murdered. That Ferrari is dead. Was it Lone? It was F4. Wait, which Ferrari was it? I don't even know. It is a full course safety car. I'm not quite sure how that Ferrari driver isn't dead, but my goodness, did it look deadly. I believe it to be Lone, as he is the driver without a front wing. Baja is somehow in second place. He has had a stellar start. I mean, he did kind of cut that corner, but the game didn't tell him to give back the positions, I think. Looking at the positions change, Baja is up 7 positions. Like I said, channeling the Mercedes drivers, channeling their inner George Russell. And as he is up 7 positions, both Aston Martins winning big time, up 3 and 4. That man up 5 positions already. Joseph holding on to the lead of the race. As Joseph is into the pits already. I'm not quite sure why drivers are pitting already unless they have damage. I'm trying to see if they are taking front wings. Joseph is not taking a front wing. We have many drivers in the pits as it stands. F4 into the pits for a new front wing will screw over his teammate who also needs a new front wing. I don't think Alex took a new front wing. Not quite sure why these drivers have pit, but Baja will lead the restart. Both Aston Martins actually pitted, making Quads alludes out to his teammate, or to F4 due to the double stack. Jesus down 5 positions at that start. Deathwing up 6, Mosi up 8, Eric up 8, Dom up 7. There is a huge mix-up in the field from the deaths in the first lap of the race, and whatever that pit window was, I'm not quite sure as to why these drivers stopped. Although those that did stop for the hards, they might be trying to get their stop done already. Can you do 20, it'll be like 25-ish laps for the entire race? I am really confused by what the field has chosen to do. I'm not quite sure what happened to Mint, but he is hanging out in P3, who he did not stop. So, yeah, I don't really know what happened there. I have absolutely no clue as to what is going on through this field. There's no way you're going to take these hard tires 25 laps to the end. I just don't see that happening. I'm not quite sure the Aston Martin double stack. I mean, if you can take him to the end, you're going to be banking on at least 2 more safety cars. So you're going to want... oh, maybe that's what they want. Oh, no, because then... I don't even know. I don't know the decision on that one. I'm not on board with it, honestly. I don't know how Baja didn't get told to give back positions off that. I really don't know. Because I'm pretty sure he was the one that just kind of completely went through the corner. Unless that's where he was when he went into it and he was just shoved and he took the exit. I'm not quite sure. On quads, I had to pit because... okay, yeah, so the wing damage I get. But I'm pretty sure your teammate Alex didn't. Joseph didn't. And there was someone else who I think didn't have wing damage that pit. I don't understand those guys. And we aren't going to the end, no way. Yeah, but there was people that pit that don't have wing damage, is what I'm saying. Joseph didn't. And like I said, I think your teammate didn't. I mean, you're talking to him, so you probably know. I know that Joseph didn't have damage, and he did. As we have safety car in this lap finally, and Baja will take us away on this restart. Yeah, we watched the Red Bull stop because I didn't think that he had damage, so I watched him through the stop, and he didn't take a front wing. Baja is warming up his tires. That man behind, completely ignoring him. As Baja gets a very good jump on him, and the Red Bull is already faltering to him. Mint's also not expecting it. That's an excellent, excellent start from Baja on that safety car restart. Very well done from him. The top 3 all getting away quite nicely out back. There are some jumble ups going on as F4 is back into the pits. He might be retiring from the race. As into turn 1, we do see a couple going too wide. Joseph going around that of Alex, and Jesus losing out big time. It looks like he lost several positions. It looks like he might actually be in AI mode as it stands. Alex putting the pressure onto Alex in the Red Bull ahead. Looking ahead of the field, that man is putting the pressure onto Baja for P1. Not quite sure why F4 went into the pits. Did he take new tires? Yeah, he did. Okay. Is he on AI mode, maybe? Back, Alex dropping off the back of Joseph a bit, going on board with F4. He looks to be in control of that car. Baja will be at threat from that man throughout the course of this stint. Both of these drivers having an amazing start to this race as Moski drops down the order. He has gone off track, keeps that kick sauber from getting damage, and is being overtaken by the AI McLaren. Nope, he's backed off it. Looking back ahead, that man still on the back end of Baja ahead. As Baja sets the fastest lap, that is quickly snagged from Mint. Mint who closed the gap the most through that as Iceman overtakes Deathwing for position. Kicksauber finding his way through that other Mercedes. Iceman up several positions along that with that Deathwing. As most of the top field had to make a very early stop that is all kind of screwed over their race. Baja will be at threat to DRS with this lap. As we said, we would see a large split in the midfield as it will be quite tight. And that split is actually kind of getting mixed up with all the top fielders being in the midfield. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Looking through the backfield, Joseph is on the back of Deathwing. Deathwing's teammate currently leading this race will be wanting Deathwing to hold up Joseph as much as he can. And he is giving Joseph quite hard racing, giving him a squeeze on the outside, giving him a bit of a scare with the barrier. Joseph holding on to the back of Deathwing. That man now putting the pressure onto Baja with Mint heading down the back straight. Mint and that man will be going side by side, both challenging that of Baja down this main straightaway as Joseph finds his way through Deathwing and Iceman. Now a 4-car train. Dom has found himself on the back end of this DRS train for the lead of the race. Baja at extreme threat. to both of these cars. They will be 3 wide into turn 1. They won't be. They will be 2 wide as the Red Bull of I That Man takes the lead of this race. Baja able to defend from Mint. Mint now a threat from the Williams as we hear collisions out back between the drivers. The Ferrari of Lone trying to find their way through that of a Williams. Mint and Dom now single file. Mint holding out for P3 still. Ahead, Baja will be wanting to hold on to the back of I That Man to return the favor and take back the lead of the race. Baja quickly dropping off the back of I That Man. This will be very good for I That Man if he can pull away from this group of cars and they hold up Joseph for the lead. Baja with the DRS will be able to catch back up. Mint tucked in nicely behind the Mercedes. Will be looking to try and get by, but is unable to do so here. Looking down the field, Lone Fiber on the back end of Quads after Lone Fiber was absolutely sent into the barrier and somehow survived. Quads picking up the first time penalty of the session for Aston Martin. Both Aston Martins are running P3, P4, now running P9, P10. Looking back up the field, Baja will have his first opportunity for retaliation with that of the Williams falling off the back end of this DRS train. I don't think he'll be able to catch back up as it stands unless he makes a mistake, or the top makes a mistake. Deathwing finding his way through Quads for that position. Mint actually the only driver able to make a move here. He does send it down the inside of turn 1 and 2. Both drivers taking it nice and clean as they go side by side, leaving equal respect to one another. They come out still side by side. Very nicely done from the both of them. I think Mint should be through that of Baja coming into the next turn. As we look on, they are still side by side as Lone has retired from the session, causing a second full course safety car as Quads gets a 10-second time penalty for a collision with Lone. Both Baja and Mint still don't know who's ahead of who, and Baja gets saved by the safety car and is held on to P2. Lone now both reasons for the full course safety car as his collisions caused them. Not quite sure what had happened to him to be murdered like that, but he was. Now, this is an interesting question. Lap 7, do you make your win stop now and do hards for 20 laps? That's still iffy. I'd say if you have a set of mediums, it's a good bank to go onto. You could pit for hards and bank on another safety car later on. It's a good time to pit, though. I'd say it's a good time to pit, especially if you haven't made a stop yet, which these top runners have not yet, which absolutely screws that of Joseph and the rest of the drivers' race. Joseph actually found himself on the back end of the DRS train come this safety car period and should retake the lead. Very nicely done from Joseph to make up all that lost time. Leading back in the field, F4, 17 seconds off the group of racers. I That Man into the pits, Baja into the pits, Mint into the pits, Dom into the pits, followed by Rez and Joseph also deciding to make another stop. Eric comes into the pits. Alex stays out, interestingly enough. Only driver to stay out will put himself at major threat from every single driver behind. Quite literally. Actually, no. Moski stays out. Moski P2. Moski podium inbound. Both Mercedes drivers actually getting bitched out during the safety car period. Mint complaining for Baja to leave the space, which honestly from my pub it looked like he did, unless if he's referring to another instance. And Quads complaining to Deathwing to leave the space after Quads, allegedly by the game, killed Lone. And Lone is typing, saying that he was murdered. Yes, I've heard. And Quads saying he purposely put me in the pit wall. I'm assuming he's referring to Deathwing? And saying that he's going to need that clip. So we will be interested in post-race penalties. Zandvoort last race didn't actually have a single penalty, which is just a show of how crap that track is. So Alex leads with Moski behind and Baja threatening these two for position. I That Man went into the pits, the race leader, comes out P6. Not quite sure how that one worked out. He must have taken a wing or something. Not actually quite sure how he ended up with that. I am interested. I wish I could see the instant tickets to see the clips and stuff because I have my POV, but I don't see the drivers. So I'd be interested to see the drivers' clips of things to see what actually went on. so my POV is quite limited to my ability to understand the scenario. I will say, I think Baja, at least through that turn 1, when Mint had him, and they were side by side, right before the safety car, Baja was leaving proper space from my POV. I'm assuming that he's probably talking about a different circumstance. Mint also probably frustrated that Baja, starting like P8 or 9, has found himself contesting for the win here in Monza. Alex, reserving for that of iRacing Noob, has found himself P1 on this restart, but will quickly find himself at threat to literally every single car behind other than that of Moski. F4 doing another mega last to first challenge, currently 15 seconds off the field under safety car. Surely it's AI, right? That's not actually him behind the wheel. I mean, it might be. And he's just like, I don't know, taking around. Hopefully we will get safety car in this lap. I don't see a reason why we should not. Joseph, after leading the race on the start, taking pole position, has found himself P11 with Quads, who was running P4, P12. Jesus also finding himself on the back foot with F4. Only driver to start the race in the top 5 and still be there is that of Mint. Mint keeping it clean, and I think Alex has just done a mega restart. Actually, no, he has not yet. I thought he went, but he... Moski spun! Why did Moski spin? Moski and Bajas have spun! No, what happened? What happened? Why did the pair of them spin? What? I don't understand what happened there. Was Moski warming up his tires on the restart and turned himself into Baja? Is that what just happened? No way. No way he did that. I want to look at turn 1, but I need to see what the hell just happened between them. Mint will certainly be laughing watching that. Baja retiring himself from the session after being taken out on a restart. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I definitely need to see a pop of that immediately. Quads finding his way through Baja's teammate Baja, who was competing for the lead of the race, out before the restart was even available. Quads now P9 with the time penalty. F4 carving his way through the field has found himself 10th position. Moski and Baja both not really overtakes, but that of Jesus and Deathwing were. He's now head-hunting the cars ahead with Quads in his sights as Moski retires in turn 1. We'll try and look at the Discord and the field off this restart. Mint now in contention for the lead of this race. Trevor's already submitting clips. They are not going to be happy with each other. Trying to watch this and the race at the same time. It is of Deathwing putting Quads into the pit wall nearly. Oh my days, he actually like almost does. Mint contesting Alex. He has the tire advantage, so he tried to go side by side. Mint not having any of it yet. He has Dom now threatening him after Alex kind of holds him up, but he is able to find his way through. Alex, I believe, Dom looking to pick up a position, falling through with Mint. Spahan leaves the session. Dom and the top 3 competing for the lead of the race. Mint leads away, heading through the next set of corners. I had that man patiently waiting for a moment. Dom finding himself P2. So Mint now has taken the lead of this race after starting P3. He has Williams of Dom behind. Dom up several positions. Yes, up 9 positions is this Williams. Very nicely done from him. I that man up 6 with Eric also up 6. I just asked Baja if he believes that was his fault because I really need to know what the heck that was. So I want to ask his opinion immediately. As Williams gets spun around a bit, trying to push himself to that Mint, and an Aston Martin has spun around. That is Alex who has spun around as Alpine is glitched out inside of a Red Bull. Thought we might have seen a safety car there. Alex now tumbling down the order with quads now ready to overtake. So from that of Baja's POV, like I said earlier, Alex went and then stopped and then went again. So when Alex stopped, Moski went right and Baja both also had to go right because of the fact that they pushed and then stopped. And because they both went right, Baja and Moski just kind of collided as they both had nowhere to go. So that's actually kind of from Baja's perspective. This is purely from Baja's perspective. It is more so on Alex for the fact that he went and then stopped so harshly. As Rez, oh, I'm on board with that man as he just goes mega off track. This commentator's curse tonight is just awful. We killed Moski, we killed Lone, we've killed F4, we've now killed that man. What is going on? I should not be abusing this power. I really shouldn't. Mint pulling away out of DRS of the car head, looking down this DRS train. Joseph pulls inside of that of the Williams and retakes P2 as Dom Rez tries to force his way through that of the Williams. That man looking to pick up the scraps of this battle as they get netcode together. That man should be able to pick both these harsh racers off at the same time. Red's just leaving no room for the Williams trying to force his way through. That man actually not able to find a position yet. We'll have to wait out. Mint now at threat to Joseph behind as Jesus pits. These drivers are leaving blood, sweat, and tears on the track here today for sure. These guys are absolute animals as it stands. That man tucked in behind Dom, ready to attack Dom, who was on the restart P2, now at threat to P5. Rez now outside the DRS of Joseph. I was going to say inside, but he falls out quite quickly. Looking behind, Quads is on the back end of F4, unable to contest with his teammate Alex, who had bottled it, now running P10. Dom in a position to overtake, and that man also in a position to overtake. That man tucked in behind the Williams, should have the move done into turn 1 quite easily. As he tucks in, he has Rez defending from that man as he sends it down 2 cars. He is unable to get it on Rez, but he is able to get the car stopped and twisted as to not cause a collision. He might be looking for the move into the next chicane as Dom quickly falls off the back end of the two of them. That man patient behind this of the Alpine and holds off for another lap. As we have a mega DRS train off P3 all the way down to P10 as it stands. Seemingly, that man getting a bit of a worse exit out of that corner, but quickly it gets to top speed with the DRS. Deathwing with a time penalty. They'll go side by side. No, they won't. That man will take the lead from Rez right there through the corner and has put himself from a Alpine double podium to a Red Bull double podium. Rez with the opportunity to fight back will have an easy move. If he decides to here, he waits for the main straight, but puts himself at threat to the Williams. Both these drivers will have DRS on that man. That man will be smiling as they've now compromised their exits and will make for an easier defense from that man. Rez frustratingly would have had an easy overtake as we see behind the kick sauber of Iceman getting through the Haas down the main straight. Because of that weaker exit, Rez was not able to attack that man. Like we said, Quad's also trying to work his way through that of the Haas. With his teammate right on his tail, ready to follow through. Quads goes down the inside. His teammate a bit too far off, unless Quads does put him a bit wide, which he a bit is, not enough to make a difference. And the Haas stays ahead, cutting back. That man looking to pull away from Rez to make it a Red Bull 2-3. Somewhere in there, Deathwing also picked up a track limit time penalty. Actually have a really crappy POV now from the kick sauber. Dom picks up a time penalty. So it looks to be that Alex went, then stops, and then Moski just kind of didn't move at all, and Baja killed him? I'd need an onboard from Baja to call it. Moski actually agreeing with Baja, saying that Alex was mostly at fault for it, as we are seeing some drivers into the pits early on. Puts a big split between the Red Bull and Alpine to the Aston Martins. As Dom retires from the session and leaves, and there's a full course safety car for some reason. Did we miss an incident reviewing that? Mercedes taking a new front wing. F4 moves up higher into the points for P9. We have 4 DNFs from the night so far. This is a very good pit window to go from the hards to mediums. If you were to start on the hards, I don't know if we really had anyone that was running that kind of split. Looking at the tire lifespan from the drivers, Joseph would have been in a decent enough position to pit for hards and go to the end. Alex should have pit for mediums and would have been good to the end or to new hards. Not quite sure why Alex didn't stop. Deathwing did make a stop for mediums to go to the end. Very nice. Jesus also went to mediums. Eric went to mediums. Iceman and the Haas went to hards. Or no, Iceman and the kick. Sorry, I'm looking at like 3 different drivers right now. Yeah, I don't know why the top fuel didn't pit on this one. This is a pretty good pit window. As I'm just trying to review all the incidents being thrown into general during this race. As the top drivers do come into the pits, except that of a couple. Let me pull up the tires to see who made their stops. Mitt making a stop, Joseph not making a stop, with that of I That Man stopping. Snook, aka Rez, stops. Alex stops. F4 moves up to P5. He should be able to take those tires to the end. He's gonna not be happy with them. Joseph and Quads could go to the end, but he won't be happy on those either. So what we are seeing is on-track finishing positions. These are not provisional or anything. These are on-track positions as it stands. Jesus and Deathwing still off the back end of the cars, and we'll do one more lap. '77 saying that Quads has tried to kill Deathwing like 5 different times this race, so definitely a lot of beef going on between them. We should have safety car end this race. I'm just trying to find as much beef in the chat as I can to acknowledge during the race. So we should get the safety car in this lap message in just a moment's time. As we actually don't get safety car in this lap, that's weird. It's actually very odd that we didn't get safety car in this lap. Anyone running tires to the end on slightly older tires will definitely be thankful that they're losing laps, that they'd have to run at full pace. So we wait patiently for one last lap, going around Monza for the second time behind a safety car. It's actually been a pretty decent blizzard outside. I think I can measure the length of this race in inches of snow. Go to Rocco, please? Okay, so you say go to Rocco, please, but there's no Rocco on the grid. We can go to Mint. Is that close to Rocco? As we finally have safety car in this lap. Mint will take us away, hopefully cleaner than that of Alex, and won't cause any mid-safety car incidents. Alex with that goofy, weird restart. Deathwing with choice words to Quad, saying, rather than whining like a little bitch, clip it and send it to the stewards. Okay, choice words from Deathwing, as Mint takes us away in the same spot that Alex did, and then he broke. Looks to be a mega restart for Joseph, as he is right on the tail end of the Alpine, already pushing him for an overtake into turn 1. Out back, Eric and Iceman look to be going side by side possibly, or is that F4 and Eric? That's F4 and Eric going side by side with that of Mint, and Joseph looking out back. Eric and F4 make contact, and F4 loses out a couple more positions. Absolutely awful weekend for him, as it has been. And Mint and Joseph still going side by side. F4 now P6 after that collision with the Haas. Mint also losing out the lead of the race, with Joseph now taking lead. F4 at threats at Quads, as Quads just kind of cuts through the corner. It looks like F4 left in the space, but F4 comes out ahead, defending that position. Iceman in the kick-sauber holds out for the final podium position behind that of Mint and Joseph. He'll be looking to just hold on to the back of these two and pull away from the rest of the field. Out back, that man on the back end of Quads, after Quads had that incident with F4, was looking for a position, and there was nothing there. Alex off the back of Rez. These two fighting it out almost all race long. Back out front, Joseph and Mint are having a battle of their own, with Iceman with a nice POV. Mint looking to send a little dummy to the inside and making Joseph make a move. Iceman at threat to Eric, possibly on this straightaway. Looks like a lot of moves to be made down this main straight. Let's see if we can catch them all. Mint and Joseph go side by side. Out back, that man and Quads go side by side. Going back to turn 1, we see a double wide, with Joseph on the inside turned outside. And it looks to be still side by side. Out back of Alpine and Aston Martin going side by side with Snook and Alex. Looks like Alex is winning that one out, with Joseph defending from Mint. Mint still looking to attack, waiting patiently. He does not like to make a move here, it seems, throughout the race. F4 all over the back of that man and the Red Bull. Jesus quickly falling off the field, now 5 seconds the gap to Deathwing ahead of him. That man waiting patiently behind F4 was behind that man. How did he get through? How did he do that? Let's ride on board to give him more commentator's curse. Looking out back. Wait, Joseph has just lost position to Mint down the back straightaway. Mint has gained that position for the race lead back to him. As that man picks up a time penalty, and you can see that from that POV. He went mega wide, possibly putting himself at threat to the cars behind as Quads also went wide, losing out to every position possible, and we witnessed Deathwing just absolutely send him into the wall. That is not the type of sportsmanship that you like to see from the drivers. I don't think that there's much contest for a penalty there. That was pretty clear cut from any person's palm ever. As F4 and Eric still battling it out. F4 unable to get the position over him. As Rez goes cleanly around the Red Bull, I think. My goodness, what was that murder from Deathwing? Not a good day to be a Mercedes or Ferrari fan in this league. That man also dropping back after going wide, now down to 8th position. Not quite sure how he lost out that big. I think he was around that of F4. He's now dropped way off. Quads and Deathwing battling out. I'm surprised Quads didn't send it into the side. Deathwing down the back straight. Like I said, the two having choice words during the safety car with 5 laps-ish left to go. Out front, Joseph hanging out behind Mint. Mint looking to have good race pace on his current tires. I think Joseph is still on the older tire set. Yes, he is. He's on 6-lap older tires to that of Mint. So Mint in a very good position to win the race. Iceman in a good position to hang on to the back of Joseph to hang out for another podium. F4 looking to try and take that first podium away from Iceman. By that man, a second almost off of the cars ahead. Not quite sure why we have a perma caution on our timing screen, but that's kind of annoying. Deathwing still in the DRS of that man after murdering an Aston Martin. Eric and an Aston Martin going side by side. Looks like it might be the Aston winning out into turn 1. The Haas just having nowhere to go. Quads into the pits. As looking through the field, we are still single file off the back of the Iceman, who is outside the DRS of Joseph now, and will be at major threat to F4 behind. Looking back, Rez on the back end of the Haas having many battles with many drivers as it stands. First with F4, then with Alex, and now with Rez. F4 putting the pressure onto the kick Sauber, trying to take this podium away from him. It would actually be a mega climb from F4 if he's able to pull this off after he was just absolutely obliterated pretty much the entire race. He looks to be challenging the kick Sauber, putting the pressure on for him to make a mistake into the final corner, where he will have the DRS and a better exit after forcing him to a weird line. This might also put Alex on scene for an overtake on the kick Sauber, as the Ferrari looks to have an easy move down the straightaway, and the Aston Martin looks to pick up a position with him. The Alpine getting through that of the Haas. The Aston Martin waiting patiently behind the kick Sauber, unable to make a move. As out back we have a mega double wide as Eric loses out 2 positions to Snook and That Man. That Man and Snook now battling it out wheel to wheel. That Man looking to pick up more positions after losing out for about the 3rd time this race, I think, as he does get ahead of Snook McBain as well as Eric. Alex off the back end of the kick Sauber now, looking to take that position away from him. Jesus into the pits. Joseph still hanging on to the DRS of Mint on those older tires. Don't think Joseph will be able to contest Mint as it stands unless Mint's tires start to filter, which actually, I say that and he starts gaining. Iceman still in the DRS of F4 to defend from behind. Eric picking up a 3-second time penalty. Only a select group of drivers on a time penalty from P6 to P10. So back, that looks to be an Alpine sticking their nose on the inside or something. Not quite sure what that was. Down into turn 1. I think Joseph is going to be too far back. Looking at P3, and the fight for there. Iceman and Alex, the only 2 drivers on the DRS of F4, with That Man falling behind. Alex looking for a mega send on the inside of the kick Sauber. Not quite sure how he made that one stick, but he did. And out back, the Red Bull and Alpine still fighting it out. Double wide are these two, though, as that man successfully defends and Alex successfully attacks. Not quite sure how he was able to make that send stick, but he did get the car slowed in time. As they go too wide through the second chicane, Alex looks to have won it out, but Iceman does have a switchback that is apparently unsuccessful. Alex now back to P4 after leading the race at one point. They are now 2 seconds off the back end of F4 outside the DRS. And we'll be exchanging positions, I think, for a little bit. Back DRS train off of that man, kind of. He's put himself back on scene for DRS to Iceman after those two were fighting. So I think we'll have a big DRS train off of P4 now. Joseph still hanging on to the back of Mint. Mint just looking to pull away cleanly after a frustrating race for most of the top fielders, except for that of Mint, as somehow Iceman gets back through that of Alex coming into the final corner. They are too wide heading to the main straight. Who has the DRS is the question I have. It is Alex. Alex has the DRS. Iceman chose the improper time to make that move, losing out on the DRS opportunity and losing out on that position being taken back. I said that these two might be going at it, and they are, as Deathwing and Eric are going side by side into turns 1 and 2. Deathwing winning out on that battle. That man waiting for these two to stick it out a bit too harshly and pick up on a couple more positions. We saw that man already do that with a Williams and I think Aston. I don't really remember the other car, but I do remember that man making that move. It looks to make it again with 2 laps remaining. As he closes in on the kick sauber does have DRS, which will help him defend, but is he going to be able to attack is the question. He does actually pull quite the gap over the Red Bull coming through the 3rd sector. Joseph still 6/10 to that of Mint as they are on the penultimate lap, about to start the final lap of the race. Actually, no, that's weird. It says 26 and they cross the line and we're still on 26. Okay, so I guess we had 2 laps left. Deathwing and Eric crossing positions once more heading into the main straightaway. Alex on the back. Alex at threat to Iceman heading into turn 1 once more. That man unable to pick up a position yet, but if these two make a mistake, which they have, he has put himself on the outside of Iceman in the kick sauber and makes a very clean move around the outside for a position. He does have the 3-second penalty, which will put him a ways off this field, as it does finally change to lap 27 for some reason. Must be with the car that we're on board with. That man looking for an on-track position with that of Alex, and he spins it. He locks his rear, spins the car around, and has fallen back behind Rez. He's now fighting Rez for a position after locking his rears. As they come too wide through this corner, it's very tough. He lets them through. That man with a time pony with drivers around him will stay in this position. Looking ahead, Joseph and Mint looking at a pretty nice 1-2 with F4 somehow picking up P3 after a disastrous race for the Ferrari fans. Eric and Deathwing still fighting out for P8. Heading back to the top field, we will see Mint cross the line to win the race. Very nicely done from the man starting P3, with P1 finishing P2 behind him after being in last place at one point, I believe. Actually, no, he wasn't, but he was one of the drivers off the back foot. So F4 comes for a P3. Looks to be a Alex crossing the line very harshly, with other drivers putting in the wall as well, with a frustrating race. We will definitely be taking to the Discord after that one. Is a Mint Joseph F4 podium. Very nice diversity on the podium with Alpine, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Alex filling in for iRacing Noob, a good P4 after a very weird race. Very good race for Iceman with a P5 finish. He gained 7 positions with that of Deathwing. Deathwing surely getting a penalty for giving quads the death penalty. That man, a frustrating race. P6. Like we said, Deathwing currently P7. Eric P8. I need to go to the Discord. I need to see the Discord right now. Quads stating, thanks guys. Lone with the clip. Oh, it was how Lone was murdered on lap 1. Oh my days, that's how he was killed? Jeez. There we see the top three, very nicely done from Mint, winning it out in Italy around Monza, with that of Joseph and F4 standing up with them. Very nice drive from F4, taking that recovery to another level. We said he was doing a last to first challenge, and he did put it still in P3. Like I said, a very frustrating race for him, but very well done. Driver of the day went to Iceman. Very well done from him as well. It would be a tough fight between Iceman and F4 for driver of the day. Both did very, very well. Eric with the most overtakes. Go ahead, and I got bitched at for not showing the instant report last time. Even though it's not my responsibility, I will do it now. Go ahead and do it one more time just in case. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and look at the Discord. I'm going to pull it up on my computer. I'm putting you guys on a pause screen. You guys are going on pause. Where's my VC at? Okay, I'm just sending my congratulatory text. Bleh. No one actually joined in the waiting room yet. I want to see these incidents, though. Okay, so we saw Lone's murder. He just kind of gets, like, shunted off track. Like, in the lap one. It's very, very odd. Merc on the inside was low-key a terrorist. Who was it? Was it Deathwing? The resolution is, like, 20 pixels, so it's, like, impossible to actually tell. I'm not actually seeing any more incidents. And no one actually coming to interview room either. Hmm. Yeah, so no one's coming for an interview, I guess, so I guess we will wrap up. Congrats again to Mint for that win, Joseph for a mega recovery after pitting on lap 1, as well as F4 having a very frustrating race, finding himself on the podium somehow, after we gave him every commentator's curse possible. Iceman in the kick with a very